okay? All strong?
Fine, thank you, sweetie. Haven't seen you for a
Hats off. Hats off to
Good
you, man.
evening.
You are an
Good evening,
inspiration.
viewers today. Good evening, viewers today. We have a very special guest, Mrs. Rabiya Khan, mother of the late Bollywood beautiful actress Jia Khan, and your favorite Deepti Pinniti in our show here. Welcome to both of you beautiful women.
Thank you.
Thank you, Minaji. Thank you. It's
Yeah.
always a pleasure to be on your platform.
True.
Yeah. It's such a pleasure that both of you, wanted to come on Candid Meena, and many of our viewers are already waiting, in a queue to actually listen to your speak, because the voice for justice has become stronger and stronger, and there are many people who are, I wouldn't say in mainstream there is anybody who's fighting it, but there are many other mediums that are fighting for justice, and let us make our voice stronger in this.
Yes, true.
Okay,
And one thing I would
let's
like
start.
to say before
Yes, yes,
Rabiaji takes
yes,
over is that,
yes.
yeah, one thing I would like to say here is that hats off. Hats off to you, ma'am. I mean, for 8 long years, you
What a
stood
brave lady.
ground, your ground. You stood
She
your
is
Well,
a true
ground
mother.
against
yeah,
Yes,
such a powerful, yeah, indeed. I mean, hats off, really. You are such an inspiration,
all
actually.
do. Well, it's a mutual admiration. But one thing I have to say that when there is truth, and truth always stands alone, and one has to
yeah,
be fearless.
yes,
At the most, what they will do, they will
yeah,
try to help me, which they have done. They will
yeah,
look at me as criminal, which they have done and they had been doing. And what they will do, they will arrest me on what? On what ground? You see, by doing all that, they are humiliating themselves.
yes,
So
Exactly.
speaking, by not speaking, they are actually showing that they are trying to hide, and
yeah,
that they are the most weakest and the coward.
yes,
You understand? So
absolutely.
the as criminals are, what
Yes,
can criminal do? Do
Exactly.
them
yeah.
and pay? They think that money plays a very big
Can
role.
buy anything.
Yes, it can buy anything, which you can do it to an extent. You
Yeah,
can fool people for some time, but not all the time.
yeah, exactly.
And I know
Okay,
certain officers, Minaji, who
yeah,
really want the truth to come out.
yes, yes.
Exactly.
Yes,
We are all in that same wavelength with
Exactly.
you, Rabiaji.
yes.
Yeah.
So
So, friends, it's been 9 years since Jia passed away. Jia, as let me just introduce this lovely actress. Jia Khan was one of India's rising stars. But at the age of 25, she was found dead in her family apartment. The question of whether it was a suicide or a murder continues to puzzle people. As her mother, Jia Khan, believes it was a murder, and from that day, she has started her fight and her quest to get justice for her daughter. On June 2012, Jia Khan planned to spend the evening at home watching Game of Thrones. Her younger sister, Kavita, was arriving from Heathrow, and she wanted to stay awake to see her. Kavita had brought her some gold jewelry. Rabiya Khan, their mother, had left Jia alone in the family apartment in the affluent beach suburb of Juhu at around 9 p.m. to have dinner with friends. At 9:37, the mother spoke to Jia on her mobile and asked her not to forget to eat, telling her that she needed to gain weight for a film role. Jia sounded relaxed and happy. Less than 2 hours later, Jia was found hanging dead. When Rabiya returned home at 11:20 to find her daughter hanging from a ceiling in the apartment's spare room, her body was still warm. Rabiya grabbed her ankles to support her weight while she screamed for help. When Kavita's flight landed in Mumbai, her phone started pinging like crazy, and a casual friend said she was sorry about my sister's death. Everything around me went blank, said Kavita. Can you, Rabiaji, take on from here and tell the viewers what exactly happened after
yes,
this and how your battle for justice started and continues still?
yes. First of all, Minaji, Jia, who was looking forward for her future plans, right? And she will never do something like this. It's a very primitive way of method of taking their own life. You see, why would she take the most difficult method of doing so? If it was, look at the situation, look at the circumstances. There was a bed, the high ceiling fan, and there's air condition, blinds. Everything was, like a staged kind of a thing. And for the police to, without even investigating, they said that it is a case of suicide, prima facie suicide. Excuse me, when your officers have come, you don't even, the golden hour which was missing was they were allowing everybody to come in, and they were in fact, police was looking for evidences that they can pick and sabotage the complete crime scene, which they have very conveniently done even in Sushant's case. So, my daughter was absolutely fine. She was planning to go to London. She had major plans, but that night she had already signed 3 films, and there was 3 films more that she was to sign with UTV. CBI did not go to find out. Police did not find out. Police just went on that whole persona and that whole dramatic story, because they need some story to be created immediately. And now what to create? So, as you know, as famous Mr. Bhatt and all those people of the same feathers, they will come in front of media and start narrating the story of depression. Now, who knows what is the depression of story? In 9 years, have police or CBI proved it? Same thing went with Sushant Singh. So it's a pattern that they are following. You understand my point? And for CBI, such a premier agency, if police has not done their job because of their vested interest, but for CBI not to investigate, it's very alarming that why CBI is not doing it.
Yeah.
After 9 years, when
Rabia
this
ji,
Atelier case
Rabia
happened,
ji, yeah,
yes,
Rabia ji, I'll introduce, interview a little bit here. See, I would just like you to, before you go on to that, I want you to tell us, like, what were the last moments in her mobile? Because apparently she got calls from Suraj Pancholi. So if you could just speak about that, so that we go systematically to what happened.
yeah, Meena
Yeah,
ji, I have to say that when I go through this, each time I go through a trauma inside as well. So, there are many times, I want to skip
yeah.
some of the thing which still
I'm
gives
only
me.
saying, yeah, I'm only saying this because many of the viewers still
Tell
don't
you.
know. Yeah,
Yeah, so I will tell you basically what had happened.
yeah,
My youngest daughter was coming, and Jia had gone on the 1st of June, had gone to Hyderabad. Then she came back. She spent whole day, 2nd of June, with Surat Pancholi. She
yes,
was preparing to give Kavita, her younger sister, a birthday present. So she wanted a special jewelry to be made. Now,
yes.
for that, Jia had 10 lakhs of rupees. She had given to Suraj Pancholi an X amount of money, which could be 5, 6 lakhs, whatever. Because how I came to know was when CBI had raided his place, they found 3.5 lakhs of rupees. But they did not ask him the question. Now, what happened that day, Jia had signed films, which I'm talking about this from CBI's charge sheet,
Absolutely.
what I discovered later.
Yes.
So she had already signed the film and she wanted to celebrate with Surat Pancholi. Suddenly, Surat Pancholi's attitude changed on the third morning. I am in Bombay. Her sister is coming, and Jia is very excited and very happy. So obviously, he was very not happy. Why is she so happy? So she was wanting to celebrate the news of signing 3 films with him, and he was avoiding her. So she said, how come you are suddenly so cold? Because last night we had had such nice dinner at Marriott Hotel. So they had been dining in Marriott Hotel, where she discussed that she's leaving for London and for the shoot, and then she'll be back in a week's time, and then they'll celebrate Kavita's birthday, things like that. So she gave the money to him, and next day, as he went absolutely cold and change of attitude. So this took her by surprise, and so whole day they had been communicating on BlackBerry. Now, what had happened in the evening, uh, uh, somewhere around 4 o'clock, she said, Mummy, I have selected some jewelry for Kavi. Would you like to come with me to the shop? So we drove down to Bandra. We saw the jewelry. I did not like it. She said, okay, I have something surprise for her. Now, she
Yeah.
was keeping it surprise, did not tell me. And I came to know about the new order only from CBI when they asked me a question that did I receive the new order? So the new order thing came from the statement of Surat Pancholi. Now, why I'm putting everything together, because later I discovered everything.
Yeah.
So now what happened that they were communicating, and he was showing a very cold shoulder. She was very skeptical about what happened. She's given him the money and he's not responding. And now he's not even contacting Neelu and not even giving the money and not confirming anything. Probably, he's going and gallivanting it with his boyfriend, Karan Joshi, or other friends and avoiding her. So obviously, it is very disappointing for a girlfriend to know that the boyfriend is not at all happy that she has signed the films. So he sends at night at around 9:25. We left the house at 9:15, 9:16, which is, you can see it on CCTV. So she goes to her cousin's place to see Game of Thrones. And I go to Anju Mendru's place, because she called me several times and I said, okay, I'm coming. So I go for an hour and I told her that I'll go for an hour and I'll be back. And so she said, yeah, he'll be also back. Now I leave and she goes to see. Meanwhile, as I saw from CCTV later, Surat Pancholi's servant comes to deliver the flowers to Dia. He himself, as a boyfriend, has no time now to deliver flowers, but definitely, to dine, he has got all the time. So he comes and he sees that Gia is not in our apartment. So he goes back. In 2 minutes, I see Gia on CCTV. Gia is coming back. Now, how? She went to see Game of Thrones. So who told her go home? And then you see after she goes home, you see 2 minutes later the servant also coming back with the flowers, right? So the servant gives the flowers. In 15 minutes, Dia comes down and tells the servant, go and throw these flowers in the bin. Where is the bin? And you can see that she's not drunk. Her voice is absolutely fine. So the flowers are thrown. Now, this is all seen in CCTV. After that, when I come home around 11:15 or so, I go home. I go home, I see all the lights on, I go to Gia's room, she's not there. I go to the bathroom, she's not there. Then I open the slide door of the other room and I see her there in that state. And that shocked me. And you can imagine it was like mountain falling on me. And then I see, I in panic, I start calling everyone. I call the neighbors, I scream, I do all that. So later we discovered that on her phone was certain messages which police took because police had taken the telephone. And on that, dirty messages were written by Suraj Pancholi. Now that was on Gia's phone, right? So it completely showed that they had a fight. From CCTV, we could see that after throwing the flower, she goes and takes a rickshaw and goes towards Suraj Pancholi's house. And over there, she calls the servant who came to give the flowers and asks for Suraj. So the servant asks Suraj that it is Gia on the phone. What shall I say? Suraj says, tell her that I'm with the father. So while the servant is telling Gia, Gia was already standing in front of him at the window. So he told Suraj that, oh, she's at the window, she was watching. And you are tell her that you're with the father, but she has seen everything. And now Gia leaves, so he sends his friend, he was with Karan Joshi, to go and check which direction Gia has gone. Now, why are you saying to Karan Joshi to find out to which direction Gia has gone? And then he takes the phone and starts shouting. I came to know all this from Karan Joshi's statement and from Deva's statements and from Suraj Pancholi's statement, right? So from these statements, I have come to know everything. So the Karan Joshi goes to the watchman in opposite building and asks which direction Gia had gone. So the watchman helps. Now, police has not gone and asked watchman or done anything and did not see whether Suraj Pancholi followed, Karan Joshi followed, Deva followed. Because if this is not one man's job, then all these three should be taken in consideration that they followed. Because the CCTV, as you can see, was sabotaged, was doctored, because the time that I came to the house was around 11:15, and the time I called Anju Mehendru, the first call I made was 11:20. So CCTV shows that I arrived at the gate at 11:23. So where have those times disappeared? Those minutes disappeared. It doesn't make sense that how will I call without even getting home Anju Mehndru at 11:20 when I have not reached, according to CCTV, until 11:23. So this is our question to CBI, that what happened? What happened to the missing times? And if they say that Surat Pancholi was not seen coming from the main gate, then there are a lot of access, because the side walls are literally 4 feet, 5 feet high. And then you can see, it's an open balcony. And Gia's French windows, bedroom windows are French windows, and the locks were not functioning. So it is very easy for any even child to jump and come. The apartment is first floor. So police seized these dirty messages, which were alibis, because before that Gia had already gone. And these criminals, they use these messages to show, to bluff police and put a bull in people's eyes, to show that, oh, I was just trying to get in touch with her, but she was not responding. Excuse me, you knew that she's gone. You knew what has happened, because the time she had gone, his father comes to Anju Mehndru's house and was intimidating me. And that is why I left that place within 5 minutes. And that happened. His arrival was around 11 o'clock. And I left by 11:05. So I reached my house within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Or 4 minutes. So do you understand how all these things are falling into place? And
Yes.
CBI uses their hypothesis like, oh, Gia loved him so much. I'm not saying she didn't love him, but she didn't love him to take her life.
Yeah.
She loved him.
Here,
She, and
yeah.
probably
Here,
he
Rabiya ji.
was
Yeah. Here, Rabiya ji. Just one thing. I want to tell the viewers that since Rabiya ji was not happy with the police investigation, she wanted a CBI investigation. That's
Yes.
how it moved on to the CBI investigation. Yes, please
Yes.
continue.
Yes. And I told from the first day, the moment I saw, and I said, "Hi, मेरी बच्ची को किसने मार दिया? देखो injuries तो देखो." So Anju Mehndru says, "Oh my God, this is a suicide, Rabiya. Shut up." So, excuse me, who says something like that? Shut up, this is a suicide. How do you know that this is a suicide? Can't you see the injuries? So, it is very sad that eyewitnesses who are compromising and telling me, oh, don't go
Yeah.
after that boy, because the father is very influential, and they work under very powerful people. I said, what are you talking about? It's my daughter, it's my child whose life has been taken away. And I was telling the police from the first day. So police is telling me, but they didn't see anybody coming. So I said, how do you know? So we saw in CCTV. I said, show me. That is the first time I came to know that the building has got CCTV. And the police is showing me CCTV on their laptop. So that means on that very night, police had taken the CCTV. And on the laptop, they are showing me bit and pieces. So when I saw Gia coming and going and all that, what I described just now, I said, but she was wearing a tracksuit. So where is that tracksuit? Can you please ask your officer, because it's not in our house. And she's staring at me. She's not even finding out, because if you are sympathetic and want to find out, police will immediately call the officer and ask. She didn't. She didn't even call the officer to find out whether they have a tracksuit or not.
Here, Rabiya ji, one minute. I'd just like to tell the viewers. See, the scenario is very similar to what happened at the SSR. After
Yes.
SSR's murder, completely the scene. Everything was changed. The room was changed, and things have. Everything was sort of being covered up. So it's a very similar scenario that Rabiya ji is talking about in her daughter's case as well. Please continue.
Yes, Meenaji,
Please. Yeah.
I would just like to add one point here. Rabia ji
Yeah.
was saying that the chats were created for alibis. Okay, because Gia was dead much before that. Okay,
Yes.
and the same thing is mentioned in Sushant's drives as well.
Yes.
Just because there were
Look,
chats.
see here again, what Rabiya ji says is so true. They want to build on a depression theory. They want to build on a fact that, see, she's an outsider. Okay, she was not happy with life. Her boyfriend had left her. So these are the same things that they are using as a pattern.
Yeah, because these are the tactics a police uses to get away with murder. When
Yes.
they want the criminal to get away with murder, they need to create a story. They need
Yes.
support from media. They need support from icons. They call people to say to do their narratives, because
Exactly.
so shocked, and they will believe at that moment anything. That is exactly what happened with Sushant Singh. And that the moment I
And
heard,
there was no suicide note.
no, there was no suicide note. Regarding the suicide note, even in CBI charge sheet, they have precisely said this was not a suicide note. This was like Sushant had a habit of writing a diary, as Deepti is reading all those encrypted slides.
Yes,
Jia
yes.
also had a habit of writing a
Yeah.
diary. So we were looking for the diary. And I told my daughter, Jia had a habit of writing poetries and diary on a diary. Can you please go and look? Because we have a prayers for the memorial. We will recite some of her poetries. So a police officer was sitting over there. So my daughter goes and looks for it. So she was hunting and she didn't find anything. But next to her bed, there was a drawer. In the drawer, there was a Prada box. In the box, there was a wallet, and in the wallet there was this note. So she picked it up and she brought. When she brought that note, she started to read. So we were reading that note. It shocked us. It shocked us to know about everything that Jia was talking about. We were not aware about abortion. We were not aware of everything that she was narrating in that letter. So this is how the note was found,
Yeah.
and we notarized it and then gave it to police, and police gave it to media, and very conveniently said, "Oh, Rabia gave it to the media. Why will I give it to the media when you are telling media every obnoxious story that Jia was drunk?" On that, forensic experts said
Like
very
Divya
clearly,
Bharati.
was incapacitated. She was incapacitated even to stand. If that was the amount she had consumed, then she could have not walked.
Yeah.
You see,
Can I ask
they,
you a question, Rabia ji? Here,
their own.
Jia was close to her sisters. Did she never confide? Because she dated Suraj for 9 months. Did she never confide to her sisters about the kind of trauma that she was suffering from?
In bits and pieces. She did
Yes.
confess to me in the month of February when she came, and she was crying and she told me. So I told her not to go back.
Yeah.
So for 10 days, she was with me, and everything was back to normal. And I
Yeah.
told her to avoid all his calls and everything. I
Yeah.
said, he's a Rakshas. So what happened? But he started, sending her feelers and saying that without you I'm devastated. And the letters I have submitted to CBI, and saying that I'm going to have an operation, and there is nobody going to be with me. Where did his parents go away? Where did his sister go away? Now everybody's coming and giving him money and doing a complete cover up. At that time, where were they when my daughter ran to nurse him, that he emotionally blackmailed her? So, what is the age? 24-year-old. She was 24 then.
Yeah.
It's a very vulnerable age.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
know that for that reason, I was keeping in very close contact with her. I
Yeah.
myself went there in the end of March, and I was with her all the time. So when I was with her, I used to tell her, "Come with me to Goa." No, Suraj just told her not to go. When I told her, "Come with me to Kashmir," no, Suraj just said, "No, make some excuse." So you see, he was controlling her.
Yeah.
So she
Here
was
also, Deepti, you will know that,
controlling it.
yeah, yeah.
Meena ji,
Here, Rabia ji, one second. Here also, see, it's very similar to SSR where Ria was controlling the whole scene, keeping him
yeah,
away from family,
Exactly.
from
Exactly.
from his friends, and
She
everybody that
she
he knew very
changed.
well.
She
Yes,
changed the entire
the staff.
staff.
She changed the
Yeah.
staff. Yes, yes. Please continue, Rabia ji.
controlling the finance.
Exactly.
It's saying, "Let us put up a company." She called her company Rex and Regina. So she wanted to do teenage clothing. I mean, all this. That's why she wanted to 8 months gap. She wanted 8 months gap so that she can go to Milano or to EBS, European Business School, to study brand management.
Yeah.
And CBI has got every evidence why these things are not coming up. If you want, I can give you the proof. I can give you the
Yeah.
proof, the letter she wrote to the college. So I can give you proof of everything that is there with us. Still, we have it with us. So SSR and Gia were very, very similar people.
See,
Very
you also say, Rabia ji, you also say that CBI distorted facts. What were the facts that they distorted?
Look, what CBI basically has done. CBI got the case in 2014, September 2014. They were reluctant. They said we don't have manpower. So the judge said, billion population, you can pick up anyone. There are many, and so the case went to them. What had happened, they were dilly-dallying. They were, reluctant to send evidences to forensic. They were very silent. We were going to the American consulate. American consulate was putting pressure. So we were putting pressure. Then we expedited the case in the court. So when we went to the court to expedite the case, that is when CBI came up with some answers. Oh yes, now they got the forensic report. So I said, so what is the forensic report? And in between, I used to continue calling them and write letter. The officer was very rude, but the investigating officer gave me a lot of informations. That was there. First of all, they were asking me how much wealth do I have, and am I aware that the accused has got a lot of money. So I said, what does that mean? What does that mean? So today I understand what it meant. Do you understand me? Oh, he just sold his apartment, his car apartment. His father has just sold for 5 crores. So what did that mean? The moment this incident took place, they sold the property.
This is also mentioned in Rabiya ji. This is also mentioned in Sushant's drives that Suraj
Yes.
was carrying a cash of 5 crores, and
Yeah.
in an intoxicated state, he had somehow blurted out that he was carrying
Yes.
it to bury the
Regarding
matter.
intoxication,
Bury the
in his,
matter.
Yeah.
in his own letter that he wrote to me, he said that I lost it. I lost it because I was drunk, and I lost it on Gia. And because Gia was wanting to leave him, so entire night, he sits and cries and apologizes and says, I will be devastated. So he writes to me saying to give him another chance, to give him, to excuse him. It happened. It was not meant to happen, but he lost it because he was drunk. So this incident, I read even in Deepti's slide that he was under influence when he told Sushant that he's taking this to probably
5
five
crore,
fix it
5
or
crore cash. Yeah, to
yeah.
bury the matter.
Yeah. So you see, there are a lot of similarities which I see now in Gia's case after reading Sushant's slides. That
Rabiya ji, one question is,
yeah,
why did they want to kill her?
why did they want to kill her? My daughter. See, I don't think so. It was they. It was him.
Hmm.
You see, because he had a fight. He had a fight, but one of the officer in CBI said no, it was pre-planned. It was planned.
Exactly.
And when that
Exactly.
officer was going towards murder, so the senior officer actually had a conflict with him. Now that officer is not in CBI. That officer has left CBI, and a new officer, investigating officer, has been replaced. And when I confronted that officer about this incident, he said, no, on the contrary, this officer who has been replaced actually wanted to end the case and close the file. I said, oh, really? How surprising. I said, it was me actually, madam, who wants the case, to be open. I said, but that officer was telling me that you were interested that the case should be shut. Do you see how internal conflicts happen?
It also
Meena ji?
says that they also, CBI also said that she had an abortion in Suraj's house without your knowledge. Is that also true?
I did not know anything about it, which
Huh.
when I came to know, I had sleepless nights. Even now, sometime when I think of it, I have traumas. But the thing is, Meena ji, he has got his parents over there. He's got his sister. Why did he not confide in his sister or his parents and take help when he did not want Gia to tell me or tell any of Gia's member? Right? Gia was completely under his control because she became so secretive. That is very unlike Gia, who used to come and tell me
Yeah.
slightest of the things. And this happened, Meena ji. I will not forget, 5th of April 2013, Suraj Pancholi invites me to a restaurant, Punjab Grill. And I have got a message also. I can show you on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
That Gia says 7 o'clock is fine with us since we eat early. And so accept the invitation and I go over there. He says that, you know, I want to marry Gia. I cannot live without her. I cannot live alone, and I cannot live without Gia. So we laughed. We said, your career is starting and all. I thought, you know, a young boy,
Yeah.
infatuated and all like that. I brushed it off. But what happens then, 7th of April, when I was sitting with Anju Mahendru and I was narrating about Surat Pancholi proposing, she said, excuse me, he told his father he's not with Gia anymore. So I tell Gia, excuse me, you know, Bebo, this Surat Pancholi is playing games. He tells his father that he's not with you, and to me, he's proposing. He's asking your hand. I mean, what sort of a game is he playing? So she tells Suraj about it. Since then, Gia started twisting, turning, and was not telling me anything. And in fact, told me, "Mummy,
Ah,
I'm not going to go to Anju Mahendru's place because she goes and tells everything to Aditya Pancholi."
yeah. So she was a mole.
Yeah. So she was a mediator who was doing that. So Gia stopped going to Anju's place. And then she stopped telling me also where she's going. If I would say, "Kahan ja rahi hai beta?" कहता, "Abhi aati hu, mummy. I'm just going, I'm seeing this one." कोई ना कोई excuse बना लेगी.
Yeah.
अब मैं माँ हूँ, मुझे मालूम है, माँ तो चाल से जान जाती है.
Yes.
तो मैं सब
Yes.
आती और मैं कुछ नहीं बोल रही. You know, I used to say, Jariya, you know, at the end of the day, she's young, he's young, you know, just going. I didn't see. So I said, be careful अब बेटा, तुमने मुझे बताया था कि इसको मारने वारने की, गाली देने की आदत है. कहती है, या मम्मी, डोंट वरी अबाउट इट, आई एम हैंडलिंग दैट. ना मैं क्या करूँ इस बात पर, जब बच्चा मुझे कह रहा है. मैं तो इसीलिए आई थी ताकि मैं इस पर नजर रख सकूं. यू अंडरस्टैंड. मुझे क्या मालूम था कि इतने हैवान हैं, इतने बड़े गीदड़ राक्षस हैं कि मेरे आंखों के सामने, मेरे ही नीचे ये लोग ये हालत कर देंगे इसे. ये किसी से डरते ही नहीं है. इनको डर लगता है जेल खाने से. इनको डर लगता है अपनी इमेज से. यू अंडरस्टैंड. इस इमेज की वजह से ये लोग इतना पैसा खर्च कर रहे हैं और अपने अपने केस को दबाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. ओनली फॉर द इमेज. एंड दैट इज वाई आप रिया चक्रवर्ती और दूसरों को देखो, पठानी को देखो, सूरज को देखो, ऐसा ऐसा लाइफ लीड करें जैसे ये तो नॉर्मल है. दे आर वेरी नॉर्मल पीपल. नॉर्मल पीपल लिविंग विद एबनॉर्मल पीपल. So, you know, you understand ये किस लिए हो रहा है. So,
Also, Rabiya ji, see, very similar to what Priya Chakravarti did after Sushant's death. She deleted all her photos and her messages.
Exactly.
Similarly, Suraj Pancholi deleted all his messages in the BlackBerry, whatever chats he had with this thing. So it is all a strategy, so that people do not catch them.
yes, because that night his father was in contact with the officer who was not even on duty. We came to know from RTI. You see, right to information is one place where you ask, they have to. And I think so, you know, SSR's lawyer should expedite the case in the court and tell CBI, because that is exactly what we had to do. And then CBI will come up with some answers, something that what they are doing. Like this, silence is not going to work.
Exactly.
So, yeah, in our case, what happened? When I brought 4 forensic reports, you see, I had collected the evidences because police had shut the case. The guy was on bail, and it was absolutely like acquittal.
Yeah.
Like a restless mother, because I know that this is a murder, I went to the top ACP and I said, "Sir, my daughter has been killed." You see, the officer tells me I have got a lot of pressure from above. So if you bring some thok evidence, then I can. Now, what thok evidence will I bring when I'm such thok evidence in front of you? There's blood on a bed. There's blood on the floor. There is a broken handle on a bedside. There is no fingerprints as police as you know. The locks are broken. There was biometric lock in the at the entrance, which both of them had access. So he didn't need the key. A similar case, I was listening to Aapki Adalat when Kangana Ranawat was talking about Aditya Pancholi, you know, trying to open the door with a duplicate key, and then she ran. She threw herself from the first floor and ran and escaped for her life.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
In my case, Gia had given access to him because there was a biometric lock. It doesn't need a key. And CBI on that in the court was trying to hide from the judge that there was a key. And I said, no, there was no key. There was a biometric lock. So obviously CBI is trying to be in the same boat as criminals. So to hide something, to protect him, maybe they are doing it under pressure.
Yeah.
So
It's always been so. It's always been so, Rabiya. I am not surprised actually because due to when Srideviji's case was in Supreme Court, I had the same experience. Okay, with the agencies and authorities. And now also when I went to submit, I went to the office after confirming from Rakesh Astana's office in Delhi. After confirming an appointment, I went to hand over the evidences. Okay, it's crucial evidences because at least they should acknowledge. They should acknowledge and then they should check for the authenticity or something. But here, I mean, I'm seeing that in spite of me trying twice, I flew down twice to Mumbai, right? But though they are aware, they're not coming forward to acknowledge it.
Yes, because CBI is a body that works, under the instructions. You see, it is a central agency, a central government that is having power over CBI. Now, let me continue this. What had happened that I used to call the officer, and they would tell me, yeah, come down, madam, from London, we'll show you some evidences, we will show you this. When I would reach there, the story would change. I cannot, if I will tell you all the stories, your program will become too lengthy. So cutting short, I went to the officer, CBI officer in their office, and said, show me the report, forensic report that has come to you. One of the officer, the IO investigating officer, says, oh, this report is no good. So I said, I have got a forensic expert in London who is very well known. If you want, I can get you his report. Oh, yes, that will be very good. So I submit that report to them, right? And immediately in the month of November, within 3-4 days, they put a charge sheet, inconclusive charge sheet on abetment to suicide, where the forensic report of Jason Payne, R.K. Sharma, Dr. R.K. Sharma, and Dr. Krishna Murthy of Helic, Dr. K. Rajani, all of them were pointing to homicide and staged homicide. So
For
then
people,
here
for
I
people
would
who
like to
don't
tell.
know,
Yeah, one
Meenaji,
second.
for people who don't know, the names which just Rabiya ji took, they are forensic experts.
Yes.
They are big names
and
in
these
forensics.
were appointed by Rabiya ji after she lost confidence with CBI.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And in the court, they are saying, oh, she's doing, there's a parallel investigation going on. She's also doing, and we are also doing. Excuse me, what investigation I want to know you are doing? You are, in fact, all the time opposing whatever I am bringing in front of them. Right? You are just sitting on a seat. And I am doing all the running around and spending money and bringing all the evidences to you. And let me tell you, the knowledge, the forensic expert, you can go to any length and find a competent forensic expert who has expertise and authentication on that particular subject.
Yes.
Every court accepts that. Through Supreme Court, Meenaji, I had to submit all these reports. In the charge sheet, there was nothing. We discovered that in November, CBI's charge sheet actually was a cut and paste. The only few things they did was one psychological report of the accused, stating that the accused is lying, his body language is weird, he's hiding what happened that night. All this, why? Because when Sushant died, and I came to public, and I told what the officer told me, that they were told by higher authorities and by Bollywood icons not to interrogate the boy, not to touch him because they're launching him. So it made a lot of sense then to me after knowing what is happening in Sushant's case. So why I started coming more often and started exposing everything is because enough is enough. You did with my daughter. You are
Yeah.
playing in game of injustice, and now you are seeing under your own eyes Sushant going, Disha going, and you are still quiet and playing the same number.
Yeah.
I mean,
Here,
give a
here,
break.
here,
So somebody has
Rabia
to
ji.
come
Yeah.
speak, no?
Here, Rabia ji, you can also speak about Suraj Pancholi and his father coming to the funeral, where I think Mahesh Bhatt was also there. Can you tell me that?
Yeah, Meena ji, the boy did not show up his face for 3 days.
Mm.
He was forced to come to the funeral by Aditya Pancholi's friend because media was there. He
Yeah.
was doing all these crocodile tears and going down at only one person of his father's friend. And you see the body language of his father. They
Yes.
were managing the crowd. They were managing the media. They were not sympathetic. He didn't break. He, in fact, turned his face the moment he saw Jia's face because Anju Mendru said, Are, show him the face, show him the. Why are you saying show him the face? He
Yeah.
is not asking me, I want to see I loved her, I want to see her face. He never wanted to see. I've got a picture where he turns immediately. Why? Because there is so much guilt on his face. Do you understand? Enough is enough. CBI can protect,
Yeah.
but time will not protect him.
Yeah.
Time will expose it. Already,
Yeah.
I am speaking because I am telling the truth. I am standing by the truth. My daughter had a lot to offer and a lot for herself in her life. She had a
Yeah.
very secure family. She was telling me, Mommy, from age of 14, he was all alone living up with a friend. Then the neighbors told me he used to lock his servant and used to beat him up. He had a habit of beating. His father's sister's friend told me that when his sister, his aunt told her brother, that is Aditya Pancholi, that neighbors are saying that Surat Pancholi is torturing Jia. He said, "मेरा बेटा ऐश कर रहा है, उसको ऐश करने दो. तुम interfere मत करो." That message I gave it to CBI. क्या किया CBI ने? Do you understand my point? I have gone to a court for every little questions. I used to go to the court because these officers will only answer the court. They will never give you the answers. So for every little thing, one has to go. And now what happens? So CBI writes one psychological report and then says, oh, the password, we cannot open the BlackBerry messages. Now those messages are from Jia's phone. What about his phone? He's alive. He's got a phone. Police did not even take his phone in custody. And police says during the initial stage, the father told him to delete all the messages, so he deleted. Then soon they twisted. And CBI also twisted and says, no, Surat Pancholi was feeling irritated. Why were you feeling irritated? What was there to feel so irritated about?
What is there to
She,
hide?
yeah, she's just asking you, are you meeting Nilu? Are you giving me time to enjoy so that we can celebrate, the assignment of the films? What was so irritating? Suddenly, overnight, you became irritable. So either it was going in his
Rabia,
mind.
Rabia ji, it's in the drives also. I have read. I mean, Sushant has clearly mentioned that one of the aspects he's working as Jia Khan. It's not hanging. It's a cold-blooded murder. He has clearly stated that as well. Okay,
Meena ji,
and
pictures. I have sent you
I'm
the
sorry.
picture. And the dupatta was malmalka. You, as with your common sense, you tell me, are those injuries with a malmalka dupatta?
No, not at all.
Yes. Even the judge
Leather
asked
belt.
this. How was she found? They said, oh, it was rope. Can you imagine? In the court, I have seen them lying blatantly. They will
Yeah.
say anything. जैसे कोर्ट में आप खड़े हैं, कुछ तो बोलना है, कुछ भी बोल दो, बस बोल दो. So they have, their hands are very far-fetched. Their pockets are very deep, and they manage everything in their capacity. Why? If Surat Pancholi is not guilty, then give the password. If you're not guilty, join hands with us and say, we want to know. Bring her the truth out. He should also fight. You understand me? He should also say why CBI is not doing their job. Why CBI? Why it is still hanging?
Rabiya ji, did they put a 12 million defamation case on you?
They did, but the judge had set it aside because it didn't mean anything. But what I'm saying, if you think, as the father is saying, that I paid the forensic experts, these forensic experts are not Chavanni ke tattu. You understand me? They are learned, educated, well-renowned people. You cannot
Well-renowned,
small
top
size them.
experts, in fact.
Yeah, you cannot small size them. So if it is so, you have got more millions than I do. Hire them and get the forensic report yourself. No, you know CBI is not doing the job because they are hand in glove with you. You know police is not doing. Police is set aside. पुलिस ने तो कुछ भी नहीं किया. जो भी किया, जिधर जिधर मीना जी लाइट आती है of truth, वो वहां पर ढक्कन डाल देते हैं.
Who are the people behind Suraj Pancholi?
बिकॉज उस रात को में जिया की स्टाइलिस्ट जो है इतना रो रही थी बिलक बिलक के, और कह रही थी कि सूरज पंचोली उसको मारता था, सूरज पंचोली उसको मारता था, सूरज पंचोली ने उसको अबॉर्शन के लिए फोर्स किया. तो मैंने उसको कहा, मैंने कहा आप मुझे बताइए क्या हुआ. तो शी स्टार्टेड सेइंग दिस. तो अंजू महेंद्र उसको कहती है चुप हो जा, मीडिया है, अभी मत बोल. पुलिस ने, जब मैंने ये बात पुलिस को कही, तो पुलिस ने बेचारी लड़की को 8 घंटे ग्रिल किया. जब ये मैंने हायर पुलिस ऑफिसर से बात की, तो उन लोगों ने मुझे उसकी स्टेटमेंट दिखाई जो पूरी बदल दी, और उसको कहा कि मेरे टच में मत होना. वो रेडार से ही आउट हो गई. अब आप बताइए, ये तो हाल होता है विटनेसेस का. इसीलिए मैंने बोलना शुरू किया है, क्योंकि ये कहते हैं कि आप तो सब कुछ बता ही रही हैं, बोल रही हैं. अरे तो आप तो बोल नहीं रहे हैं, तो कोई तो बोलेगा. 9 साल हो गए हैं. यू अंडरस्टैंड मी? और आप कहते हैं कि वो हमारा भी दुश्मन है. आपका तो दुश्मन नहीं है, आप तो उसी की बोट में बैठे हुए हैं. तो मैं
Who are the people, Rabiya ji? Who are the people behind Suraj Pancholi?
Who are the people behind the whole cabal, the whole Bollywood cabal? There are camps, the camps that works with underworld. They are the, who else? There are camps, there are, different camps. So obviously the camp.
There is a Kapoor clan which is behind Srideviji's murder, and Bhatt's clan behind Sushant's murder, and Pancholi's Salman Khan, with Salman Khan backup and all.
मैं एक माँ हूँ, आप इतने बड़े आइकॉन हैं, बीइंग ह्यूमन के नाम जाने हैं. एक मर्तबा तो मुझसे पूछ लिया होता, मेरी कहानी तो सुन ली होती. ना ह्यूमैनिटी ग्राउंड मुझसे कह दिया होता. आप उनको ऐसे डेफिनेशंस को आप हीरो बना रहे हैं. तो आप क्या डिफाइन करना चाह रहे हैं? आप कौन सी सोसाइटी बदलना चाह रहे हैं? आप कौन सा लॉ?
राबिया जी, अगर आपने पढ़ा नहीं है, वो बीइंग ह्यूमन बनने का पीछे का कारण ही अलग है. इमेज कंट्रोल उनका
मालूम नहीं, लेकिन मैं एक बात सोचती हूँ कि हमारी कहानी के ऊपर जो हम सच बोल रहे हैं, चलो एक दफा हमसे पूछ तो लो कि भाई आपकी, मैं एक माँ हूँ, इकलौती माँ हूँ जिसने अपनी बच्ची को पढ़ाया लिखाया, एक काबिल बनाया. जो अंडरस्टैंड मी? एक दफा सूरज पंचोली से के मुंह से जब मैंने कहानी सुनी, मुझे ये तो बताओ तो मेरी बेटी को मिले कैसे? तो कहता है आई मेट हर थ्रू फेसबुक. और अपने इंटरव्यू में क्या कहता है कि मैं इसको रेस्टोरेंट में मिला था. आई मीन, झूठ की भी हद होती है. यू वर स्टॉकिंग हर फॉर मंथ्स. You were stalking her, and then you come to greet her, meet her at her place with flowers. और उस दिन से, this was in the month of September, somewhere around 12th 13th September, and since then घर का टिफिन आ रहा है, रोज फूल बदले जा रहे हैं, रेड कारपेट है, पूरा टाइम अपना. she used to go to golden gym, अपने जिम में ले जाना शुरू कर दिया. वो पियानो प्ले करती थी, उसका पियानो का टाइम भी चला गया. वो जो कथक सीखने जाती थी, उसके कथक का टाइम भी चला गया. You are absorbing her all the time. All her time was taken away.
Controlling her.
जाती है तो ऑडिशन के लिए रोक लेता. कि अरे बच्चा वो तो बेकार, वो तो बेवकूफ प्रोड्यूसर है, वो तो छोटा प्रोड्यूसर है. मेरी बेटी कोई छोटे मोटे प्रोड्यूसर्स के साथ काम नहीं कर रही थी. Do you understand me? She was signed by Kwan Entertainment, and look at the similarity. Poor Sushant was also with Kwan's Entertainment. Kwan Entertainment was playing game, A. Nirban was playing game, and in Me Too what happened? Right? But Mary Bachi, like Sushant, they were not scared of nepotism or some kind of sexual harassment and all like that. No, they have bigger plans. Film is not all that what they want it, कि बस इसी में ही मरना है. ऐसा कुछ. She knew she had 6 films in pipeline. So,
but Rabiya ji,
यहाँ पे
your second
कौन इन
daughter,
फिल्म
your second daughter also went into films, and she
no,
was
no,
sexually harassed by.
no. My daughter, the younger one, who was younger to Gia, was on a holiday,
Yeah.
and she accompanied Gia to Sajid's
Yes.
office,
Yes.
because Gia was very reluctant to do houseful. First, it was Deepika and Gia. Then Gia came to know Lara Datta also has been roped into, so Gia wanted to back out. So she went to meet Sajid, and that is when. And that time, the younger daughter was hardly what, about 12, 13. Because she's younger to
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
So there she goes to his office, and teenagers, they wear spaghetti string dresses
Yes.
and all.
Yes.
He looks at her and he says, "Oh, I think she's ready for sex." And she said, "I beg your pardon? I mean, how rude you are." वो तो मुंह फटे ना, उसने तो उसको क्या कहा, how rude you are. You are saying something like this in front of my elder sister. And then Gia defended her, and there was an argument, and they walked out. So Gia was very reluctant to do his film.
Yeah.
And then Akshay and Gia was great friends with Akshay and other people in the industries. They said, koi nahi, it is a very good project. It is, Nadiadwala, and it is, be a part of it. It is going to be fun. She did. But when she went on the shoot, Sajid used to harass her, where Lara Datta, stood up. So.
No, how did he harass her?
He was sexually harassing her.
Oh.
But there was Akshay and there was Lara. So when he couldn't sexually succeed, so he started abusing her on set, shouting at her, just like Mahesh Bhatt was doing during her first shoot. So, they are arrogant and they think they can get away with anything. They can shout at youngsters, they can abuse, they can. You see, they have made Bollywood such a dirty playground where youngsters, educated people come and they get completely, I must say that it's a devastation. It's a psychological devastation, and you have got to have really.
Yes, Rabiya ji. In fact, in Kwan and Cornerstone, most of the people who were acquitted, most of the 19 or 21 people who were acquitted in Gulshan Kumar's murder case, they are working for this. After that, also they were involved in small petty crimes. Some have changed their identities and they are now working for Kwan and Cornerstone. So it's an entire ecosystem of crime.
Rabiya ji,
and
see, you wrote a letter to Narendra Modi ji. Was there any response?
I did.
Was there a response?
If there was a response, I wouldn't be struggling for 9 years. Right?
What did you write to him?
Now the thing is, I had not been in India, for 32 years.
Yes.
So I did not know actually, what Aditya Pancholi does, what, all these people that you're talking about in Kwan are. Now, when I came to know about Aditya Pancholi from Anju Mehendri and the relationship of his with Kangana and how he used to beat Kangana, all that I came to know from her. So I told Gia, and that is what she went and told Suraj Pancholi. Because I told Suraj Pancholi that on the 28th of May, Suraj, I have come to know your games. Please stay away from my daughter. What? I'm confused. I said, no, you are not confused. You're confusing us. You understand me? You're confusing us. What? I said, you make peace with your parents and you focus in your career and leave my daughter alone. Because wherever I ask her to come, you are telling her not to. I, I don't want, you wanted space from her, so please stay away from her. That didn't go very well, Minaji. It didn't go very well. It was the ego. Because before even becoming Salman Khan, he was thinking he's becoming he's already a Salman Khan. You understand? He's already a superhero. He's a superstar.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. Universe has their own way of doing things. I have lost my child. I have lost everything in my life. What have they lost? They are roaming free and they are ready to take. He's a walking weapon. I'm sorry, I'm not ashamed to say that.
And Minaji, here I would like to say one thing. As much as these people, okay, who are getting away doing crimes, okay, are responsible for the crimes, the lawyers who are defending them, and the agencies who are trying to protect them, they are equally responsible
Deepti,
for the crimes as well.
Deepti, I have to tell you, many a times in the trial court, whenever the judge has asked a relevant question from CBI or from police, that judge was replaced. Now,
It
whether it is
happens. I have
evidence,
seen.
we are
I have
not
seen.
fools.
I have experienced this, Rabiya ji, because since November 2018, November 26, 2018 till August 2020, Srideviji's case was in Supreme Court of India. I have seen so many. We got more than 30 dates, not a single physical hearing. Games, all such games at judicial level. I've seen that. I'm not surprised.
So, Minaji, I have given you, since we have very, limited time, I must say one thing, that at least in Jia's case, accused and there is a charge sheet. But in Sushant's case, there is not even a charge sheet. So there is no accused. Nobody has been.
Rabiya ji, see, if you were, if suppose the Prime Minister is listening to you, okay, is listening to this program, what is your message to the Prime Minister?
My message to dear Prime Minister will be that India is a land of great wisdom and spirituality. And the only thing that is left is to clean corruption in judiciary. And to be fair and just, because justice should be for all, not cherry pick cases. You understand me? Give us the answer. If our child, my thing is that if whether it is a suicide or homicide, then rule out one or the other and give us the answer. We victims' family are looking for closures and answers. And beside our Prime Minister, there is no one who can tell them to do their jobs. Because, you know, the crime over there is from a very minute level. It is not a corruption on a very high level. It is a corruption from a very low level. There are times I have seen the peons in the courts, they take out the paper and give it. So if there is no evidence in front of the judge, then what justice is going to be? Because justice means evidence presented to the judge, and looking into the evidence, then a judge can give justice, can give the order. But when the prosecution is not taking any evidences to the court, then what kind of justice are we expecting? So my request to Prime Minister is, please hear us and please give us the answers.
And
I will take it. I will take it, very humbly, whatever the outcome is. But I need the proofs and show me. Tell me if my daughter was depressed. Then tell me. Give me that clinical depression story. Don't make stories. about my child or Sushant or Disha, because they are also, they are our children. And when you're talking about Prime Minister, my eyes are flooded, actually. I Who else is there higher than him on earth in India? Yes, there is God, but we speak to God every day. That is why God has placed Prime Minister over there. Because it's a test for everyone who has got position and status. I have a test as a mother, right? I'm being tested in my hardship. Everyone is a test. So this is my request with joint hands. I have written to him earlier, telling them how CBI is behaving, and every evidence is with CBI. I had 300 pages report written by the independent panel of judges, advocates on CBI and police's charge sheet. I've given it to them, stating, look, read it, read where things have gone missing. Her tracksuit is missing. Inconclusive charge sheet. The forensic report is not complete. So now the present stage is, Minaji, that CBI, after reading my 300 pages of the report, are asking the court to give the ligature and the ligature that Gia was found and the BlackBerry so that they can do the forensic analysis on that after 9 years. So what had happened? There was so much pressure of the Maharashtra government on police and CBI that police did not give evidences to CBI. Same thing has happened in Sushant and Disha. Yeah, Sushant's no evidences have been given to CBI. So let CBI come to the court and say that we did not receive any evidences. CBI could have gone in 9 years to seek evidences from court. Why did they not do it? They are doing it now. So they can do it in Sushant's case and Disha's case and bring all those people, all those officers who have not done their job. Because there must be somebody who's playing the key factor from not letting officers do their job.
Yeah, one more thing here, Rabiya ji. It's clear that the intent is not there. Because if really for the lack of evidences, they are delaying declaring the findings of Sushant's case, then why, if someone is coming forward which they are claiming to be an admissible evidence in the court of law, why are they not even examining it?
See, Deepti,
So,
Deepti, you also, if you were to give a message to the Prime Minister about Sridevi's case, SSR's case, and Disha's case, what would be your message?
I would say that I have great hopes from him. Regarding Sridevi's case, I cannot talk to him because I have no complaints as of now. It is in the International Court of Justice. So there is not much that our Modi ji can do. Whatever he has done, I have no complaints. Whatever, the developments will soon come out in the media. But regarding Sushant's case and Disha's case, I would really want him to, instruct the CBI to file a charge sheet as soon as possible, and kindly I request him to arrange a meeting with Subodh Kumar ji or Nupur Prasad ji so that I can present these drives and they can at least examine, because it's already, see, there is 700 GB of data. By the time they open it and render it, download it, it will take some time. Okay, so it can be established. It can be established in as less as 24 hours that it belongs to Sushant. But to go through the entire material, it will take some time. Yeah. So I request our Prime Minister to kindly instruct CBI to take note of this, either acknowledge it or deny it without much delay, because we are already too late, and justice denied is justice delayed.
Yeah, but Meenaji, I have to
justice delayed is justice denied.
Yeah, Meenaji, I have to say something, that, judiciary is a machinery and it works on monetary. So obviously, if CBI is investigating, then they need monetary funds from central government. So lo behold, Disha Sali and Jia Khan and Sushant were taxpayers, right? Antalia's case, overnight investigation was done and the results were out.
Yes.
If, so my message is, if the funds are not sanctioned by central government to CBI. So obviously there can be delay in investigation. So if I had been spending money and doing my job from the evidences that I collected from the police, because police had shut the case. So I had those evidences. Sushant's family or lawyer, I don't know how many evidences they have, but they should go to court, or otherwise we should raise funds and give it to them, because if we have funds and give them, then what answer they have? You can't say they don't have funds from central government. You can't say anything. You can only say that we have got pressure from above not to do it. You can't say you're lazy, or raise funds to have experts in forensic criminology to investigate these cases, make a report and submit it to the court, and ask the CBI and the police to give us the answers. Like Disha, where she fell, there is a crime scene. How she fell, whether she was face flat or she was, she fell on her back. Then, all that forensic experts will find out and make a report. So I did that. I went to I had 4 major forensic experts. Then I had the digital forensic expert report, which I handed to CBI.
Rabiya ji and Deepti ji, see, from the information that I have got, there is a lot of pressure on the 3 federal agencies to work very hard. This is the latest I've got. Okay, so they are working very hard. Yes, and this is just the information that I've got is today itself. I've got the information that they're working very hard, and a lot of pressure is being put on them. Anyway, your message will also go to the Prime Minister. Let us see what is the kind of response.
We will know how much have they worked once we go to court to expedite the case, and then they will say how far they have reached. ऐसे silence से तो कुछ नहीं होने वाला ना.
Exactly.
1 साल गुजर गया है when CBI had the case. So कुछ तो बताओ क्या हो रहा है क्या नहीं हो. My case was completely on public domain.
But also bear in mind, Rabiya ji, that people are watching. Okay, so they are also careful about what they say. This is what I'm getting, the information I'm getting. Okay, so let us hope that the Prime Minister will hear you and Deepti ji, and let us see the outcome. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, Rabiya ji and Deepti. Very viewers were waiting for this, and again, Rabiya ji, I will be calling you again for another talk as well.
Okay. Meena ji, I would just like to add to what you said. Yes, I too have received inside reports that now they are beginning to. There is going to be some action soon. Let's keep our fingers crossed. And Rabiya ji, yes, everyone is hearing. I'm sure. I mean, everyone is rooting for Jia Khan's justice as well.
Yeah.
Till now,
we are with you.
You have, till now you have been alone, but now we are with you.
With you, yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being such a support. Thank you very much. And I'm always there for you guys and for Sushant and Disha. Anyway, I'm getting goosebumps and I'm getting very emotional. So before I start crying, I thank you and good night.
We are with you, ma'am. Good night.
So sweet of you. Good night. Good night.
Good night, Meena ji.
Deepti, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being such a wonderful host.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, I have a great respect for your channel. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.